Hi, Papa. Wow. Welcome to the Mercury in retrograde. Hey, folks, Elaine, Marolakos, Edelson. I'm going to write my own song about Mercury in retrograde. I just had to fix my audio again before I did it. I was smart this time. I did it before I started recording. Okay, Mercury in retrograde. In it to win it. It's like a Powerball thing. Okay, we're good. Oh, my husband said my head's cut off too much. Anne Boleyn. I am the reincarnation of Anne Boleyn. Hey, Wendy, Jay, good morning. I hope all is well in your world. And anyone else, let me know that you're here. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo and Transformational Astrology. It's more than just astrology. Want to help you get your wealth, health, passion, purpose back. Because somewhere you misplaced it. Now we are in a Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Pisces. How do you find things when we're in a Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Pisces? Well, you know what? It finds you. You're swimming one day in the world of work and business and family and laundry and bills and insurance and whatever you got to do. And then suddenly you have this feeling and it's like, and you shake it off because you're busy. You're washing dishes. You're on the phone. You're doing emails. And then you get that feeling again and you turn around. Is there somebody behind you? It just feels like someone you know. Or your body's going through something and you're not sure what it is. Or you're dreaming really beautiful, complex, wacko dreams. And you wake up and you go, I got to shake that off and go to work. So in this particular retrograde, you want to make sure, remember the do's and don'ts, very simple, and you allow for extra time in any retrograde. Because, folks, I've said this before, and if you're new to me, I gotta oil that thing. I got a few bones I gotta oil too. If you're new to me, I say that the planets don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets are reflecting that in the heavens. It's like a clock. Oh, darn, I forgot to wear my watch. I have an astrology watch that my husband, Dean, bought me. Anyway, astrology is like a clock. It just tells you what time it is. And your timing is different than anyone else's timing, right? You could have 5 Aries in a room. And the themes might be similar, but they will all be undergoing something very different based on who they are and their own karma, if you want to call it that. Some people do, some people don't. Now, listen, I don't like to step on religious toes. If you have a belief system that says, I'm born, I live, I die, and then that's it. Then, according to that psychology, you have one lifetime to make this count. So what are you doing with that lifetime? Oh, my gosh. Hey, Dean, you looking for my watch? It's on the counter. My husband, he's like my producer. I had it on the counter next to the jewelry box. And I guess I put it away. Oh, that's unusual. Hey, anybody watching the Marie Kondo is her name? Tidy Up. I didn't fall. I was on the couch yesterday and I was really kind of tired. So I just took a break and I thought, what's on Netflix? And I put it on and my friend had said, oh, you got to check her out. It's like a hoarder show, but it's a little bit more spiritual than a hoarder show. A little bit more feng shui, but she doesn't actually talk about feng shui. So here's this petite little adorable powerful woman from Japan. And she walks in with a translator and it's like, hello, it's like, oh, I just got so cozy on the couch watching her. But you know what? I got nauseous watching people with all their stuff because we're pretty lean and mean in our house. We clean out our closets every 3 months. And I recommend that don't just wait till springtime. By the way, my husband just found my watch for me. There it is, my astrology watch. Hey, good morning, Samantha. So, when I was watching Marie Kondo and I thought, gosh, we're pretty good. We clean out because it creates flow. So during this particular Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, I've been talking about it for a few events now on the Facebook Live, and I want you to really be aware of. It doesn't matter where Pisces is in your chart, although if you want to know, you can book a reading with me. Click the blue Book Now button, and we can go over that and talk about making the dream a reality. I'll talk about that in just a second, and how that's different than any other Mercury in retrograde reading. So what happens when you have clutter is it's a representation. Remember, just like the planets represent what you're undergoing, your house and your stuff represents what you're undergoing. So clutter on your desk, in your closets, in your house, in your lives. What is the stuff behind the you get into your closet and it's like, what's behind the hangers? There's stuff hanging and there's stuff on the floor, and clean it all out. And as you do, you start to spin energy. Whoops. And as you spin energy, you can physically feel the sensation of feeling sick. Or that's how I get nauseous if I do too much. And if I watch a hoarder show, I can't. I have to skip to the end. Let's see the before and after pictures, and then I'm satisfied. Or let me just hear Marie Kondo talk so I can take a nap, because she's so relaxing. I love the sound of Japanese women speaking. And anyway, so when you look at what's really great to do in a Mercury retrograde is to speak well, number one. And no, I am not intoxicated. I'm high on life. Aren't you? Come on. Let's be real. When you start to clean out your closets, it's so important that you make specific piles for yourself that represent, okay, this is Christmas stuff or holiday things, or this is for when I wrap gifts. So you have, your stuff. But when you come across something that you've been hanging on to for years and you don't use it, you don't wear it, you don't implement it in the house, it's just there. You have to ask yourself, what sentimental value do you assign to this thing, right? And so what we look at in a Pisces energy, guided by Neptune, is, it becomes sentiment. Things become sentimental. They become family oriented. It's like, oh, look at that picture I found of Aaliyah, our daughter, who's now almost 20. And, and she was 4, and isn't that so cute? And then you start going through photo albums, and then you suddenly get lost. So Pisces energy is like a fish, right? It goes in opposite directions, and it swims with the current. And then when it doesn't like the current, it just changes direction. So that means the energy now is nebulous. It's like the mister behind me. It's like, oh, what color is it going to be? Let me just stare at that for a while. Oh, it's white, and then it turns yellow, and then it's purple, and then it's green, and then 20 minutes go by, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to get that report out, or I was supposed to do that thing, or I forgot what I was doing. Why am I in the kitchen holding a sock? So you want to be really cognizant of that. Now, added to that, this is the really special, wonderful thing that's happening this month. And all the big astrologers are talking about it if you're in tune with that. Saturn is a planet that represents denial, just like Neptune, structure, and karma, just like Neptune. Neptune's structure is amorphous. It can't be grasped sometimes. It's just elusive, and you get that feeling watching a movie, or you're planting something or cooking dinner, and suddenly you have this sensation where I want to go do this thing, and it becomes this lifelong, like, oh, I've always wanted to do that, in fact, and now I've put it on the back burner too long, and now I want to get going, and then you get lost again in something else. So it keeps moving. It's like being in the water. You just keep floating around. So what I recommend for the Pisces kind of retrograde thing is to, drink more water if you need it, definitely. Have a fountain if you don't. If you have one, you put one on. If you practice Feng Shui, make sure it's in the proper and correct location. Taking baths, showers, taking your time to be fluid. All right. That's what the Mercury in retrograde in Pisces shows you. Now, on top of that, Saturn creates structure. Well, it doesn't create it. It represents the part of you that wants structure, that wants to be the authority, that wants to take charge of something that you once felt was, a little bit like, oh, I'll get to it later. And now you look at that closet and you say, yeah, no, I'm going to clean it out now. The flow is with me. Long live the flow. The force has flow behind it. And then what happens is the combination now of the entire month of March, Saturn, the planet that represents your authority figure, your denial about authority. Maybe you don't own your own stuff. Maybe it's you have difficulty with authority figures. Maybe you kowtow to them. Maybe you minimize yourself when an authority that you deem an authority walks into the room. Could be a police officer, a priest, a father, an uncle, a judge, a spouse, a friend, someone you think is smarter, better, more. Okay? But then when you look in the mirror, I want you to start looking at your smarter, better, more. Okay? So I'm just giving some definitions before I put it all together. And then Pluto, the TNT for the psyche. Yep, I know, scientists, it's under negotiation now to bring Pluto back into the planetary fold. It was deemed a dwarf star a few years ago. Regardless, astrologically speaking, Pluto represents your subconscious, your unconscious, the power that you have. Okay, so what do we have so far? We have Mercury, which is your perceptions. In retrograde, you're focused inner. Then we have Neptune, which is your ideal vision and the dream come true. Then we have Saturn setting the structure and facing authority, maybe owning it. And then we have Pluto, power. So you see what we're starting to build on here? This is a month where you can actually get something profoundly done. What is it that you want to do? Hi, Kathleen is here and listening. Wendy is a Libra. Librans work hard. So do Capricorns. And and I mention that because Pluto and Saturn are both in Capricorn right now. So we have Capricorn, which is the symbolized by the goat with the dolphin's tail in the water for mysticism, but yet moving up the ladder, climbing the mountain ever so slowly to reach the apex, the top, the peak. And then we have the nebula. We have the dream. We have the magic. We have the mysticism. We have the spirituality, the astrology. We've got your spirit and owning what that means. To make a dream a reality, it takes a little bit of work. And Saturn says, imagine, I'm creating a course called, it's an astrology masterclass course. And to understand astrology, for anybody can do it, really, once you focus on the videos and the PDFs, etc. But we'll announce that when that comes time. But what I did was, to make it easier for people to understand what planets represent, is I made them people at a party. So just imagine someone who is a little bit more wiser, older perhaps, reeks of authority, has a lot of wisdom, perhaps puts a little bit of the limitation on too much fun, walks into the room and says, all right, you ready to roll up your sleeves? And then Neptune walks in, and they are blowing bubbles and wearing very colorful scarves, and said, I just did a painting and I've never painted before. You want to see it? It's fabulous. So we have, the fun, the fantasy. Too much fun, though. Be careful, because Saturn comes in and says, all right, that's enough playtime. We need to get to work. And then Pluto walks in. And Pluto is just like what you would imagine any part of your subconscious trigger to be. TNT for the psyche. It's someone that can be intimidating, someone that can be so seductive at the same time. You wonder, what's happening to me? Something's changing. Oh, that is the whole thing about power. If you want to assume your power, Saturn is there to say, I'm here, waving the flag. Let's get to work. And then Pluto says, you already have the power. Oh, it's like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. You click your heels 3 times. You've always had the power to go home. Really? Well, how come nobody told me that? Well, I'm telling you that. You have the power to go home. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What's the dream? So where I will give readings with people, and especially those who are ready to receive the information and act on it. It's fun, it's fabulous, it's powerful. And my clients will see results if they act on it, if they take the information and they do something with it. I can only do so much, right? So the Book Now button will now show you, or Dean might post a link if he's in his office. The Book Now button will show you a link to a 60-minute reading with me for $247. That's half my typical price. But what I'm also offering is how to create that structure, that dream for the one thing that you want to manifest. What's getting in your way? What's sabotaging you? What part of you is sabotaging you? Because it's never going to be about the outside world, ever, ever, ever. You know that, right? Question mark. Yeah? Nod your head. Thumbs up. Give me a heart. Smile. Let me know you're here. Oh, sometimes I can just babble on. Okay. So next week, I'll be here this week at the same time on Thursday. But starting next week, the clocks in America and around the world change, except for Arizona and a couple other places. So Pacific time and Arizona time will then be the same. Mountain time will be 1 hour ahead. Central time 2 hours ahead of Arizona. So I will always post what is going on. But on Sunday when you or Saturday night when you change your clocks, just keep in mind that you're moving through time. Isn't that fun? I said to a client once in Australia, how is it? How's the future? What does it look like? What do I need to do to get there? They thought that was kind of funny. All right. So what's the one thing you want to change? What's the one thing you want to focus on? What's the one thing you want to get organized with? Now, it doesn't have to be lofty. You know, I had someone on the thread the other day saying that they were someone who was very strong and that they always attracted weak people. Well, if you break down what that looks like, if you're always attracting the same thing and it's not the thing you want, then you have to look at what are you the magnet for? What is it that you don't want? What is it that you're afraid of? What is it? And Pluto indicates where the fear is. So the fear, breaking down the old limitations in order to build a new structure to create a framework for your dream coming true. It's going to take a little bit of work. It doesn't have to hurt. And if you're ready, I'm here. I'm here to help you. And all the things that I talk about, you know, if you listen to all my Facebook Live events, I'm always talking about a combination of body, mind, spirit, you know, because you can be so healthy. You can be working out. But if you don't exercise your mind, if you don't have a proper framework or mindset, then your spirit cannot be ignited. Again, you can have, you look at where the debt is in your world. Oh, and for this one particular reading, I am only taking 5 people this month for this one because we're going to go in depth. And I'm going to take part of my VIP program, Clear Your Money Karma, and I'm going to apply it to this session. And that's a $3,000 program. So for $247, you get a lot. And we're gonna end the, you know, break those ties that bind. So what's the thing you would like to create? Oh, with this woman who said that she kept attracting weak emotional people. And so it breaks down to, well, if you keep attracting the same person, it means you need to be in control. No judgments. And if you need to be in control, it means you don't trust. And if you don't trust, it means you have a fear of being vulnerable. So once we identify the thread that takes you back to the core, then I give you exercises to eliminate that pattern so that when you see it in action. And one of my most recent, I have a monthly star mentoring program for people. After they do the VIP, sometimes they look to continue to work with me. And this one client I have who is very powerful, and I said it's going to be moving forward a little bit back, moving forward a little bit back until you get the new pattern down, because you've been living the pattern you're living for how many years? That was me and you nailed it. Oh, okay. Where's my hammer? If I had a hammer. Here, I call it a wand. That's my hammer. But when you transform something a little bit in one area of your life, guess what happens? Oh my gosh. The energy permeates every other part of your world. And you start to see significant changes and transformation. So that's the thing to look for this month. If you're really dedicated and focused on making this thing happen, then look at what's the recurring issue, what's the dream, and where do you sabotage yourself? And then go keep breaking it down to core. You know, so if you need to be in control and you keep attracting a certain kind of a person, it means you are the magnet for everything in your life. Now, let's say you're living your world and everything seems great, and then suddenly something comes in and it seems out of the blue. Well, your blue is all shades. Your blue. Your unconscious mind is all shades of blue. And then I would look at Pluto and say, you know what's coming up for you? Something that came up when you were 3, 4, a previous lifetime. And if you're someone, again, who doesn't believe in different lifetimes, that's cool. Then just look at it in the framework of, okay, you're born, you're here. What are you doing with the time that you have? Because if you have a belief that you leave and then you're done and you don't come back, you still exist. But for the time that you're here, what are you doing with this time? What would you like to do with this time? Are you just hanging out, till time's up? Ding dong, time is up. You could, and that's fine. But if you want to see something progress, if you get that exhilarated feeling when you watch a particular type of movie, read a particular type of book, eat a particular type of food or cuisine, and you say, I've always wanted to go to Thailand, or I've always, you spend money on things. So if you really want to make something happen, you can budget. This is Saturn energy. You can budget what you don't need to be spending on in order to save the money to put it elsewhere to create the framework for the dream. That's my rant. Now I'm going to pull a card. What is it that you would like to change? That's what I want to know. Get my happy cards. Again, click on the blue Book Now button. I'm only doing 5 of these intense, very powerful Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, a combo representing where you can stop the sabotage, break the pattern, and start to move forward with actionable steps. It's up to you. All right. This is for the group today. A group healing. Anybody see A Star is Born? I've only seen it 3 times so far. Because Bradley Cooper is my second husband. My husband knows this. His second wife is Cate Blanchett. Oh, here's one. I don't think I've pulled this one before. Okay, for the group. Growth. Where do you want to grow? How do you want to grow? Growth. Sometimes it's a struggle. You just gotta, this doesn't feel, when you start working out, when you haven't worked out for a while, and then suddenly your muscles are sore the next day and you go, I don't know, I'm going to take a day off. But instead of taking a day off, you just do an easier workout and it lubricates the joints and, unstiffens the old creaky bones and you start to feel a little bit better and better. Okay, so immediate results come. If I look at your chart and I say, it's going to be immediate, it will be. But if I look at your chart and I say, it's going to take a little bit of time, then you need to trust that and trust the process as if you were moving toward the ideal vision and then seeing results along the way. Sometimes people don't recognize results. With the one client I had, she did my VIP back in September, Clear Your Money Karma. And I said, okay. And she wanted a private thing. I also do group version, but she wanted the private one. And I said, this issue that you have, you really know that it has nothing to do with money, right? And she said, yeah, I'm realizing that now. But it caught her attention, right? As it does everyone else. And so when she was working through her issue, I said, now you're going to put these 3 things into action right now. Because someone was coming to her apartment to talk to her. And she had like a little bit of a misunderstanding with this person. And he was coming over to help her with something in the apartment. And I said, here's how you're going to approach it. First, we were doing a Zoom call and I took a picture. I said, as she was telling me the problem and the issue, she had this look on her face. And I said, you look like you just got released from prison. It's like you have a mugshot. So I took a picture and then I showed it to her. And I said, that's your expression as you're talking about this person and this issue. And I said, that's your expression. Now I want you to reverse it. And I want you to relax your body and sit back and smile. And think of how this feels instead of that. Hunched over, frowning, the whole old Saturn look of an old wrinkled woman who's pointing the finger saying, you better get it done. It's like, no. So first she relaxed her body. And then I had her smile. And then I said, what's the real issue? And the real issue was, and I said, the real issue is you're afraid of intimacy. So, if you're waiting for this other person to break the ice, don't. Why not be the adult in the room? Why not be the initiator? Why not? You're such a powerful person. And I said with this look and, and she laughed and she goes, okay, what do I do? And I gave her what to do. Here's what you say when the person comes to the door and you smile. and you extend your hand, you touch the person on the shoulder. Come on in. Can I get you a cup of tea? Listen, I think we had a misunderstanding. And it's completely okay. And as I instructed her through it, she said that she actually listened to the recording of our session and over again until she could emulate me. And then the thing happened. And she said, just like magic, Neptune energy, the person was disarmed because the person was waiting for retribution or a scolding or something, hey. And the person was disarmed. She was relaxed. And then they started communicating. And the next thing you know, Beverly Hillbillies reference, old Jed's a millionaire. And it was great. So once you start to see little bits of changes along the way, tiny transitions over time equal one huge change. Are you ready to do that? I mean, show me some thumbs up that you're ready to make a transformation in your life, because growth comes with a little bit. Doesn't have to hurt, but sometimes you just got to be really honest about your own behavior. And that's what Saturn and Pluto are going to mirror back to you this whole month as they conjunct. And they're moving into a conjunction. A conjunction is when a planet is within 8 degrees. My feeling has been in astrology with the past 33 years of doing this is that when the planet is within 4 degrees or exact, that's when it's like a supernova. Depending on the type of planet, where it is in your chart, what it represents for you, and who you are karmically. Again, not every sign is going to experience the same thing. It depends on who you are and what you're doing with your energy, right? What did Gandalf say? To make the best, what did he say? What matters is what we do with the time that we have, right? So I think that matters too. Gandalf is my hero. My hero. Okay, so with Saturn, structure, limitation, denial, and karma, in a relationship to Pluto, TNT for the psyche, power. They come together. What are we going to see on the world stage is powerful people duking it out. We're seeing that now, right? Powerful people duking it out. And then Neptune comes in and says, I have some information that was hidden before now. What does that mean? Now, in a Mercury in retrograde, hidden before now meant I hid it from you on purpose. I wasn't aware of it, or it just magically appeared on my desk when I had been looking for it for 3 weeks. You'll have that, right? Who has that? Where you're looking for something like, where's my silver pen? I used it yesterday. I could have sworn I put it in my purse. And, we're rummaging through things and we can't find it anywhere. And then, lo and behold, it's sitting on my desk the very next day. And I look around and go, all right, who's playing with me? Who is messing with me? What angels, energies, or whatever are coming in and going, whoo, the veil. We're going to mess with her head. And I've been saying for weeks, I'm going to get my desk cleaned off. I'm going to clean off my desk. And that's the procrastination that Saturn can represent, because it's the 11th hour. It's when do you need it? Oh, I need it by 10 o'clock today. Well, it's 9:30. When are you going to do it? So people who are Capricorn rising, or Capricorn moon will experience this more. Or if you have prominent Saturn placements in your chart. Anyway, piles on my desk on one side, stuff I need to get to, organized over there, stuff I have to get to. And I had a big cup of tea. Now, I kept talking about how Mercury in retrograde in Pisces is going to represent water things. Showers and fountains and rain and weather and sleet and snow and, the water systems in you. Maybe you have extra confusion due to mucus. Maybe you have a sinus thing. Maybe it's crying, tears that you've been holding. Well, for me, it was a big darn cup of hot boiling tea. And I picked up the cup and I don't know what happened. It was like in the fairy forest, in the Fey world. I just dropped the cup. I just dropped it. And it splattered everywhere. And my husband came running in and we had to move, technology away and the papers that got it's like they're still drying, everything. And so I cleaned off my desk. That's the way the universe decided to help me clean off my desk. Where was Marie Kondo when I needed her? Anyway, my desk is clean right now. And I feel empowered because of it. And you will too. So a couple things you can do before I go, and I'll be back on Thursday, is think about what the dream is, what you would like to have happen. It could be anything. I want to have a better communication in my relationship. I would like to treat my body better. I would like to clean out the closets and have less clutter. I would like to write that book. I would like to make that, surprise dinner for my sister-in-law, whatever it is. The one thing you'd really like to be moving forward with that is profound for you. Okay. But the precursor is you have to clear a space for that thing. That's the architecture part. That's the Saturn part. So Neptune says, oh, I got this idea. Let's go make a movie. It's like, well, have you ever made a movie before? No. Do you own a camera? I guess I could use my phone. I just have to learn how to use it. It's like Neptune has this beautiful dream, but not always grounded. And with Mercury in retrograde, perception is off, and then technology goes a little haywire. So to organize all of these things together, just look at where the clutter is. Clutter in your body is represented in your world. Is it in the bathroom, the closets, the kitchen? Is it on your desk? Is it in your files? Does it have to do with your emails? So look at where the clutter is. Start to minimize the clutter a little at a time, and then start to write down the actionable steps that you can take toward the thing. Well, I can schedule a meeting. And people would say, what, in a Mercury in retrograde? Okay, well then practice. If you want to practice being vulnerable, as an example, you go somewhere where no one knows you and ask for help. Put away your GPS and all your I know how to do it crap. It's just like ask for help. This is a kick a time right now where you can utilize the energy that's moving through you, because that's what it is. Now, someone might feel this energy and not know what to do with it, and they have unhealthy patterns. They will opt for unhealthier patterns, because the negative side of what the planets represent equal what you are willing to do to stay in denial, i.e., drink, smoke, eat carbs, sugar, stay withheld emotionally, not express, hold your feelings, hold your anger. There's a lot of holding with Saturn. Saturn holds, hold, restrict, deny, wait, delay. And then suddenly Pluto comes along and boom, it's like a big boom. We don't want that. You don't need a car accident or a health issue to wake you up, do you? Let me shake you now. I'm shaking your shoulders now. Oh, wait, here's a fairy bell. Let's do that instead. The fairies are coming by from the Fey Forest, the Neptune energy. Here we are. It's the Fey Forest. What can you do? Someone says, wait, before I go, Sasha says, strangely, I am looking to become more present this coming retrograde. Yeah, that's what it is. And you can, use oxymorons like strangely in a retrograde, becoming more present. That's what this whole time frame is about this month. That's why I'm excited. And I can only do 5 because I've got so many other things on my plate right now. And I want to help you. So if you're ready, click on the blue button. Or I think Dean posted a link somewhere. And we're going to go deep. We're going to go into what's stopping you, the sabotage, where the structure wants to be built right now. Because you may have an idea of where you want to build something, a new relationship, better finances, health, whatever. But the universe says, no, before you do that, you got to do this. So that's what I'm looking at in the charts. All right, in your personal chart. Be well, be sparkly, stay present as possible in as many moments as possible, and look for the magical moments because they are real. They're real. Then you can act on a little at a time and see the results. All right, folks, I'll be back on Thursday at the same time. Be well, be sparkly. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.